Good day, friends. Good day, lovely humans. Today is a riddle day. It goes like this. The most powerful enemy, who or what it is? Is it your neighbor with a different last name? Is it the Second World War criminals who are emerging again into the open? Or maybe all the so-called Muslims who are invading Europe and America? Or maybe they were enemies of the states, whoever the CIA finds guilty of doing something wrong. So who's the most powerful enemy to you? Maybe your wife, because she cheated on you. Maybe your husband, because he was beating you. Or he still does. Or maybe your neighbor who has more land, more cars in the driveway. Or maybe even the worst enemy of yours is your children, who doesn't respect whatever you order to them. So it's a difficult choice, really. Yet riddle is not fully answered, otherwise it would not be a riddle. When two parties comes into engagement of not pleasant communication, and then start throwing bricks, wooden planks on each other's heads, and the next one is start throwing fists, or down the line start throwing bombs, or even worse, atomic bombs. Are these the worst enemies of each other? Not at all. These are also obvious and very, by the text school books, how we call enemies. How you call two teams in a soccer field competing against each other. You call them opponents. They are fighting for what? What is their goal? What is their deep intent to achieve there? They're basically enemies to each other, until they so-called shake hands on the end, admitting, yes, you won, we lost, and so on. The ability to recognize enemies in the world was so easy for us. It was developed to the scale that wherever we look, we see enemies. We see competitors, we see opponents. We see downright stupid, ignorant people who don't think the same way as we do. This fucker doesn't wanna do the same as I told him, and it could save him a fortune. Yet who are you to save him a fortune or to make him a fortune? You can't go on other people and telling them what not to do or what to do, and then if they don't respect what you imply that they should do, they become your enemies because you have a different opinion. Yet all of these so-called very open enemies, opponents, rivals, competitors, are not a deep down motive, what we call a true enemy of you, true enemy of your life, true enemy of humanity's survival on this planet. Or maybe you can bring some aliens, so you can call this Galactic Federation is our enemy, they wanna conquer us. How do you know that they didn't conquer us already? How do you know they didn't invade us already? Maybe this is just a preventive mode of, bring in the open what these dark, sinister activists wants us to hear, to actually pay attention who's our so-called true enemy, and then we put all our energy, defensive energy, aggressive energy, towards this entity or this nation or this planetary civilization, whatever you want to call it, not realizing that deep down the answer for my riddle is none of these. The most powerful enemy that every single one of us has is lawyer, an advocate, judge, our government system that it's enforcing illegal rules and regulations. They're not always so humane. And why this is the most powerful enemy? Because it's hidden. It's in our face, yet it doesn't represent itself as an enemy. It represents as our best friend, best buddy, who will save us from, let's say, future troubles. So we'll not go and break the law next week when we're speeding or when we, crossing the street, jaywalking. So simple and very deep answer to me is the most powerful enemy of all of us is the hidden hand. The hand we do not pay attention on. That's why secret societies were ruling the world without being exposed at all for centuries until now. Why church is pretending they're doing all this God work, yet nobody's questioning which God. That's why advocates, lawyers are so-called defending you, yet on the other hand, nobody's disclosing a true agenda. Why they're doing it? Because they're bluntly stealing from you, stealing from your strawman funds, stealing from your really funds that God, true God, gave us to be here on the planet. So, hidden agenda is always the best agenda to conquer somebody. You don't tell them why you're going into the war. You present to people, so-called laymen or commoners or simpletons that we all in their eyes are, that we get dressed into a uniform of that army or that army, or even if you want to go to energetic uniforms, this one is a patriot, well, but he died. So how many live patriots do you have? You've been sent in the wars, all kind of wars. Even if you're police force, even if you, let's say, firefighter, you're just an obedient enslaver. You're enslaving somebody else. Yes, pretending you're protecting people from the fire. But whoever comes up, let's say after the fire, to find out true reasons why these fires came up about. Why 9/11 was hushed under the carpet, that nobody talks too openly about it. And to try to find a deep motives behind this very horrific action. And they claim enemy is this one, but 19 people who pretend to be Saudi Arabians or Muslims, and they just crush the planes, and they drive the planes like a little toys right into wherever they want. Yeah, sure. If you're absolutely retarded, you would believe this stuff. And if you are lazy, if you're absolutely ignorant to being better meaning that you start seeing things with your true and better eyes every day. When every time you receive an information or you receive some kind of aggressive enemy claim, Russians are attacking us now, let's say Americans. The Russians are faulty because Clinton lost. Are you joking? And if you dare to announce this on the mainstream fake media, you're nothing else but a common thief, common liar who's actually trying to hide a real enemy behind this. Because they're pointing here, look, here, watch this. Russian so-called enemies are attacking us, and in the meantime, the NATO circled around with all the nuclear missiles, every single Russian border, from every single side. So you tell me that this is the way how to live your free life? Let these freaks to stay hidden. Let these freaking advocates and lawyers to hide their real nature by pretending they're here to help you. No, they are just here to steal every single dollar that sits in your strawman accounts, that sits in your trust accounts. And they will do it even when you die, especially when you die. Yet it's up to us, awakened humans, who start investigating deeper behind this really so transparently fake agenda that they are pushing into the mainstream media and into the forefront of our existence through the history books or through some kind of hidden, so-called hidden agendas of secret operations behind the veil, behind the CIA's actions, behind the federal FBI and so on. Who's allowed to classify anything? What does it mean if they want to hide something from a normal people, like everybody who's actually involved in America, who lives there, who pays taxes and so on? Why they bring you so much attention to, doesn't matter. What they bring now to Russians, to collusions, Trump with whoever, don't know, prostitutes from Moscow, and like, can you just go more stupid? Talking to this mainstream Brzezinski media and CNNs and CBCs. Yet nobody will pay attention to what this Trump is doing behind the scenes to fix the faulty financial system, how the dollar was created, who owns the present dollar, and who is allowed to distribute it, with which interest rates, and so on. So, same thing, the magicians. Look here. In the meantime, the other hand goes under and just steals every bit of energy out of you. So, how to really fight these hidden informations? Get true. Get truthful. Become vigilant. Discern. Watch behind the letters of what they talking on the news. Read between the lines what they presenting in the printed newspapers. And even then, when you come up with some kind of solutions, they're totally extraordinary or almost borderline conspiracy theory. No, they are not theories. They are true because you come up with them. You did not hear them on CNN or NBC. You did not read them in the history books or in Bible. You came up with a notion of what is true and what is not. So by these actions, you'll not be able to blame anybody what comes to you next down the road. Is this a good thing comes to you or not so good thing comes to you. You'll take responsibility, and if it's something not so good, you will try to investigate. Why did I get ill? Why did I get kicked out of my house? You'll find always there is a deeper, a hidden, a motive before any action is presented to you. So you always question why somebody wants you out of the house. Let's say if you didn't pay to the bank loan, mortgage. You go deeper. Ask them who actually owns the mortgage at the present time. And you realize it's not the bank anymore. It's some third-party insurance company because it was already sold out. So if you're brave enough, you will question them, and you will not just, go on your knees and ask for forgiveness or to forgive you another 3 months of non-payment. No, you can claim your house as it is, because once when you sign a contract with the bank, you actually gave them a full, let's say, house worth $100,000. You gave them a full right to take from your strawman account $100,000 times 2 times 3 in the terms of 10, 15, 20 years that you signed the mortgage. So they are taking from your strawman account, which is filled with millions of dollars, every single human being, and they're actually stealing directly from you, from your accounts, not informing you. So you see, if they keep this hidden, they can do it indefinite, and you will not be able to crush the banks ever, or we as a humanity will not be able to crush them. Yet, if many of us start claiming our straw man back, one at a time, there's many people already. Check online. We'll keep you posted, Denise and I, what are we doing here in this matter in South Africa, and what I'm going to be doing in Canada very soon. And you'll see that it's very, very easy to bring yourself to the full sovereignty, not allowing that these hidden manipulators through hidden agendas through the law system or legal system, through hidden agenda of the banking system, and through hidden agenda of governmental system. You will be absolutely start breathing freely, because you know there is nobody else will be able to trick you anymore. You know, with a simple act of yours, you will be able to defend your stance, defend your sovereignty, and defend your ownership, which includes your body, which includes the house where you live. But only the house where you live. You cannot defend by this kind of means or your landlord type of easy money if you own like 20 apartments around the city. Not at all. Just your own personal house. The rest doesn't belong to you. It belongs to people who live in there. Even if you pretend that you paid it, too bad. You will have to pay this back to the banks. That's why banks have a very strict rule in the last almost 7, 8, 10 years that they cannot give more than 2 houses per person. So people doing all these stupid tricks of one house will be for my wife, another house for my children, on the name of my grandfather or whatever. Bring some cousins from the village and they will own it. Yet you can be the landlord. So, not anymore. Or at least not tomorrow, but down a couple of months, you'll hear many of these stories going public. And when we're coming from little people like I am, have no influence. It'll be coming from the governmental offices, because we were challenging every single governmental office. So to answer the little riddle Who is the most powerful enemy of yours? It is not who. It is the hidden agenda behind every aspect of your life. So, do you have to fight it? Not at all. But you have to disclose it. When you know something is true, you tell it. You scream from the bottom of your lungs to every single one who's willing to hear. So let's start screaming.